Soul Edge continues to be a dope ass game. So I'm gonna share some things with y'all. It must have been about 48 hours or so that I discovered that Voldo has an infinite in this game with standard weapons. Just straight up. Voldo has an infinite, but it is pretty difficult to do. This move is trash if you finish it. The only move that doesn't matter if you connect with it or not, the follow-up will never have a purpose because it's always blockable and it's always extremely unsafe. So it exists only as a trap and a barrier for execution. You have to be on point. 66G plus A plus B. And you get that.
The grueling battle ended with the victory of Voldo. You win.
Yeah, you have to get 5 loops for this to be a TOD, and it's tougher than it looks. It's tougher than it looks, believe me. When I first tried to do this, it took me about 50 minutes. But to get a ring out like from start, you just need like 2, I think. Nope. Probably way easier if you binded your buttons. But I'm old-fashioned. Yeah, if you wanted a ring out from round start, you just need to land 2 of them.
You win.
Perhaps one of the hardest combos to do because you need to land 5 of those to kill from full health. Each time you miss it, mind you, they get a punish. The move is not as unsafe as you would think. It's a move that has the big punish property, and it takes 50% counter hit if you're interrupted. Versus, yeah, so it takes 50% counter hit when interrupted. It takes an extra 10% on a punish instead of 5%. 50% counter hit, 10% when punished. But it also has the benefit of being airborne. So it's surprisingly safer than it looks. To my deductions, it's like about -6. I could have went somewhere dark, or I could have went somewhere dark. So yeah, it's about -6. So you don't get much off of it, but or you could just settle with something like that. Siegfried doesn't have that many big punishes for this. Right, his actual punish will be something like this. Right. So yeah, let's try to get this loop. It's hard. But even if you can only get 2 reps, it's still big damage. Even if you can only get 2 reps in, you're still doing a lot of damage off of regular hit. This is also a GI free move. So, and it's a mid, so it makes it extremely purposeful. Voldo's dangerous.
Out of the ring. The grueling battle ended with the victory of Voldo. Perfect. The grueling battle ended with the victory of Voldo. You win.
So, with the knowledge that Voldo has this infinite loop, technically this is extremely broken, and it's not something you punish very heavily, although you do get a solid punish out of it, depending on the matchup. Is this game breaking? I personally don't think it is, because it's so easy to mess up, and when you do mess up, you get punished for it. And then there's also the big punish stigma attached to it, where you take a 50% counter hit if it gets interrupted. If you mess up and accidentally extend it, where it's always punishable no matter what. Yeah, and just that it's difficult to do in the first place. Like, I think that makes this acceptable, even though this is a very, very powerful thing for him to have, for any character to have. Who knew Voldo was so cool, right? This is really cool. It's really cool to try to do. But yeah, Voldo is just, he's a good character, right? He's a very, very good character in this game. He's very strong. He's top 3 in the game in my opinion, and this only boosted him up even more. I might as well pull up some stats while I'm at it. I've made several different tier lists for Soul Blade over the years. This is what I originally thought the list was, you know, Mina, Sophie, top 2, followed by Guest Fighter, and then Voldo. But then Voldo moved up a bit, and Guest Fighter moved down just enough. And then my final edit is basically the same roster, but Voldo goes up into the upper echelon of, you know, scores, right? Gave him a 90, 91 score. I think he's one of the 3 kings of this game. Voldo is tricky because on one hand, he's not really exceptional in, outside of what we just discussed, having this TOD. He also has an unblockable if you ever block high. So if you block him standing, let's see if we can go switch back to this real quick. Okay. So if you block Voldo standing, that becomes an unblockable. You can't do anything about that. This is A and 2B, but you have to just time it. Right, you have to just time it, because if you do too fast, it'll just feint it. He also has, this is not to be mistaken with 6A 2B, because that's a different move. 6A has further reach, and it's has less block stun. So those are 2 different moves. 6A has more reach, has more gaps, but it allows you to do things like this. Right, it allows that to connect after you cause a stagger, whereas neutral A doesn't reach. The trade-off is that neutral A is faster, there's less gaps, and because there's less gaps, they're still stuck blocking the high. They can't crouch and block the low, so it's unblockable if they ever block high. He also has 2 3 strings AAB, one of the few 3 strings in this game that is completely safe no matter who is on against the entire cast. He also has a BA, which is another 3 string that is safe against the entire cast. This is important because 3 strings deal a lot of guard damage, and because it's off of an A, you know, his fastest button, you know, it makes it a tremendous threat. He's going to deplete your guard gauge pretty easily, and then you're dead, you know. And so the threat with that, blocking Voldo while standing is a very dangerous job. It's a very dangerous task and position to be in. However, this move is a mid, and it restands. So if you crouch Voldo, now, you know, you see what we're getting to. Damn, it's just hard to do. Also peep the reach on this. Okay. Holy shit, I thought that was it. I timed it so well that time. There we go. So if you crouch Voldo, that's what happens. So either you take this 3 string standing up, or you crouch. And to keep it simple, that's keeping it simple right there. This is keeping it simple. 50%. Anyways, I believe Voldo is one of the 3 kings of Soul Blade. He's not the easiest to use. He's lacking in has several weaknesses, but it's pretty cool, right? And I'm okay with him having this because I guess, you know, I guess I'm not okay with it. I haven't had it done to me yet, but I don't think it's that big of an issue, right? For something like this, it's pretty hard to do. If something is so difficult, I want the results to be extraordinary. I'm not against, you know, a certain standard being kept, like you shouldn't be able to kill somebody like in 1 touch. But in a case like this, with a game I already love and a game that it is what it is, I feel like a character like Voldo was kind of lacking in the first place. And he was lacking in the first place. And people say that this game, I don't think people recognize how much detail and depth goes into this game and you know what characters can do. And for a combo like this, I think it's just exciting being able to do something like this. So yep, this is my updated tier list for Soul Blade. Let me know what y'all think. And this here on the side, if y'all can see this down here, who I feel is the easiest to control, right? Sophidia, Mitsurugi, Soul Edge, Guest Fighter, Li Long, Mina. Then the bottom half is Taki, Cervantes, Wang, Voldo, Rock, and Siegfried. In that order is who I say is the easiest to control in the game. This side is some bullshit. Don't even trip on about that. Some other things I've added to some of my charts, showing details about all the characters' ranks and whatnot. Added the perfect hopkick rank, so which characters have it. Mitsurugi stands for Mitsurugi, Wang, and Guest Fighter. They're all in the same, you know, category of character. Li Long has the best one. Mitsurugi has the second best because it's the safest. And unarmed combat has the next best perfect hop kick. And that's when you do a just time hop kick, which I can show y'all real quick. If you time the release of the up command, you get a launcher off of your hop kick where you knock them down. That's the perfect hop kick right there. Here's a natural hop kick, right? And for Voldo, Voldo's hop kick is punishable even on hit. Yeah, punishable even on hit. So for Voldo, doing a perfect hop kick would be beneficial for him. But even still, it's probably don't want to be hop kicking with Voldo. Voldo has one of the worst hop kicks in the game. Critical edge punishable. You can get a super whenever he does it. So yeah, that's the perfect hop kick in a nutshell, because it combines the short hop with the big hop, and it also does more damage. Yeah, Voldo's hop kick is minus 17, which critical edges are 13 frames. Let me check it real quick. I put it down somewhere. Critical edges are 14 frames. So that gives you an example of what these 3 are looking like. I've added some extra details, you know, nothing much, just cleaned it up a little bit. And I added another new role, evasive hop attacks. These are maneuvers that they give you more distance from the opponent when you perform them. So an evasive hop attack is just doing a short hop within a button. Short hop with the button. And here's a regular short hop just without anything. It hardly goes anywhere, right? Hardly goes anywhere. Do it with kick, hardly goes anywhere. But if you do it with a button, with, you know, a weapon button, they go much further, right? So I think that's just something worth exploring. I haven't really explored this too much, but this is a very good defensive tool that I just haven't really explored that much. And all jump attacks with weapons are unguard impactable, GI free. They do weapon damage at the same time. Now the forward jump does not go as far as the back jump. I thought it was something worth, you know, making a category for itself. All characters jump in attacks or landing attacks, they're all safe except for Li Long and Taki. They're the only ones who don't have a safe version of this. Taki doesn't have guard damage on hers, and it's also not safe. And Li Long just isn't safe, period. Everyone else is safe with theirs. Now for the evasive hop attacks, these are my listings for that. Sung Mina has the best one in my opinion, followed by Cervantes, Rock, Siegfried, Mitsurugi, Sophidia, Voldo, Unarmed Combat, then Li Long, because Li Long's is unsafe no matter what he does, and then Taki, because Taki just does not have one. Taki is the only character who does not have an evasive hop attack. To do an evasive hop, you have to hit up, back, right, or 7, and just tap it, right? If you hold it, you get a super jump or a moon jump, depending on which way you want to call it. I believe we called it moon jumps back in, for Tekken 2 and Virtua Fighter. Hold it for a moon jump, super jump. You tap it for a hop. But if you tap hockey's up, back, see, instead does a backflip. So C does not have an evasive hop. When you try to do it with an attack, C does a moon jump instead. Now, unfortunately for Taki, all of her moon jump attacks are unsafe. Even still, like the fact that you're up in the air like that, Taki just doesn't have the ability to do that. It doesn't matter what she does. Right, and you can just wait to punish it as well. So that's why Taki is at the bottom in my list, whereas Sung Mina has the best one. As you can see, this right here. And Taki has the best punish in the game, the fastest punish in the game. Anything that's punishable in this game should be checked with Taki's A first and foremost. Right, so Taki gets that anytime she connects with her A, which is very, very good for her. So Taki will be able to punish anything. Right. So there's a difference between that right there. There's two types of jump attacks. There's delay jump, and then there's commit jump. It's a different attack than when you delay it till you reach your peak of your height. So if I delay it, it's punishable. Right, the delay is punishable, but it comes down faster. Right, that's not what we're talking about. Right, in the same way that a hop kick versus this is the same thing for your weapon attacks, even though they look like the same move. They're two different moves. Sung Mina's good move that gives her the evasive hop is this, and that's not punishable. Right. Also can't guard impact it, and also it still comes down pretty fast. And also the range, you even take a step forward, you're in range of it, right? So for Sung Mina, who already wants to play a bit of a keep away game, has several evasive moves, has a launcher that's safe at range, having this on top is actually phenomenal for her. And the fact that it also does guard damage and you can't do anything about it, right? And then she also has one if you try to step, knock down, big damage, right? Sung Mina has one that fits her toolkit perfectly. So yeah, that explains this evasive hop row that I added. Oh yeah, I added a few tidbits about what Voldo's doing here. So 66G plus A plus B links into itself with very strict timing. This leads into a TOD. All the characters' unique traits, abilities. I've added something that probably most people don't know about for each character, tidbits about them. And I feel like I have finalized everything that I wanted to add to my documentation about Soul Blade at this point, until I find out something new, which seems to happen quite a lot. For those of you who didn't know, the damage tiers in this game is what I was talking about earlier, the punish levels and attack penalties. The next thing I want to talk about and dive into, special weapons. What I want to do is just dive into like just two characters, Huang and Cervantes. Right, these are the two characters with clones of themselves. Basically, the clones just have their movesets, but they're better because they have a little something extra. There's really no reasoning to pick Cervantes over Soul Edge, because Soul Edge has he's got tremendously more weapon endurance, so he'll almost never lose his weapon in a match. And he also has a command run, which is extremely good. And that's really the main difference between them. Like, the only drawback for picking Soul Edge over Cervantes is that you might accidentally get the command run by mistake, which isn't that big of a penalty. It's not like that big of a hurdle, because you could just cancel it anytime with guard, and you know, so it's not that big of a drawback, and there's no reason to really pick Cervantes over Soul Edge unless you wanted to go into hand-to-hand combat more. But yeah, Soul Edge is a very viable character. He's not broken in by any means. He's not a cheap character. He's just a character. Like, he's just a character, and by that account, Soul Edge is less of a character because of that. So I was thinking, how could we make these characters more unique? It's going to be a Soul Calibur 2 situation, where I'm not an expert in that game, but Assassin and Berserk in that game, which is basically Huang and Rock, are basically a better version of what's that twerp's name in Soul Calibur? I can't think of his name, but he's basically a teenage, goofier, shittier version of Huang. Cocky kid. I can't think of his name. But yeah, Assassin is Huang, and he's basically just a better version of who they replaced him with. And Berserk, on the other hand, I believe is a worse version of Astaroth. And so you got kind of clone characters, but they're not clones, but same archetype of character. And there's no reason to pick one version over the other, right? It becomes that sort of thing. Like, you're just playing to lose because you're not picking the best version of your playstyle. We could, in a tournament setting, there could be a easy way to manage this in this game. And it's just because of the weapon system. So I was like, weapons are so cool in this game, like they should be allowed. And if there were a tournament standard for this game, I think there should be an allowance for just these two characters, Huang and Cervantes, where you're able to unlock their very first weapon in Edge Master mode. So for Huang, that's this, which gives him more defense and slightly more attack. For Cervantes, it gives him this, which is a much weaker weapon, but it makes him faster. And I think that is enough to separate, you know, these clone characters in the long run. So for Cervantes, it makes this move right here plus. This becomes plus. He does way less weapon damage, way less damage in general, but he gets new combo. Like on his basic launcher, he's able to get what's this move called? It's called something funny. He's able to get the dancing goblin off of his basic launcher. Um, if, if you didn't suck. Right. So he's able to get the dancing goblin off of a basic launcher when he has this weapon. It doesn't do as much his damage is severely weakened, mind you. And he takes more damage as well. So your weapon determines how good your unarmed throw damage is. And because he's got a weaker weapon, that just means he's just overall weaker in every facet of himself. Like there's just going to be a back throw. Right, it hardly does anything. It's going to be 4 or 5. It's 5. Holy moly. 5 throws to kill. Okay. So we gotta beat 5 throws. Look at how much damage that does. Mind you, it's because he's got less defense as well. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. Right, that's kind of not fair because the weapon, again, he takes more damage with this weapon and he deals less damage. That's really the only real change. Everything else is kind of the same with him. His attacks might come out faster, like he might have frame data that's, you know, just faster attacks. But as far as recovery, this is like the only 2 moves that change recovery wise. But his attacks might be faster, like across the board. So we take that here with Huang. Huang's version, his first weapon he gets gives him more defense and more attack. Should this be allowed? Let's just do this. Mark this damage. That's the same damage. It's like, it's literally the same damage right here. It's the same damage. It's the exact same. So the damage he does isn't even increased. So it might just be like he just does more weapon damage. Let's test that on the weapon gauge. Yeah, he does more weapon gauge damage. That's all. All this weapon does. He does more weapon damage. Probably takes less weapon damage. And he has more defense. It will give Huang a purpose in this roster. Because right now, he doesn't really have a means to be picked over guest fighter. He's one of the weakest characters in the game. But that's wrapping up my time. I just wanted to show off that Voldo stuff because it's pretty cool. Let me know what y'all think. And where do you rank these characters? Do you agree or disagree with my tier list? Catch y'all on the flip side. Peace, much love. Stay cool. Holla back.
Out of the ring. The grueling battle ended with the victory of TOD. You win.